Hey everybody out there, my name is Tommy and this is my channel, Counting on the Big Sleep. I'm at the woods today. It is Sunday, August 24th, and this is vlog number, 16 maybe? Well, we'll just go with 16, what the hell. But, it's later in the afternoon, I'm at the woods here. I just wanted to come on and give you guys a job update, whoever was interested. I got called on Friday. The guy finally called me. He said drug test went through, everything's good, you're good to go. Coming on Monday, fill out your paperwork for your taxes and stuff like that, I guess, and get my schedule. So as of this moment, I do believe I have a job. So I gotta go in there. That's tomorrow. I gotta be there around between 12 and 1. Talk to the manager, about the paperwork and stuff. I don't know if they have uniforms or not. They might, But yeah, that was cool. That was good news on Friday. I was like, oh man, finally a job. Somebody called me. It was a weird thing before that, though. Right before that, I had two other places call me for an interview. I got called in for an interview for like AutoZone, parts delivery driver, which is fine, And I got another call from another company. They were a bus company, or they oh, sorry about that. They're outsourced, I think, by a bus company, and you drive these vans to pick up handicapped kids. She called me in for an interview. I went there and talked to her and stuff. I have all the credentials except for school bus endorsement. I know that's the only thing I would need if I wanted to do that. So, I talked to her we had the interview and stuff. It was good, So, and then I went down there. It doesn't cost much to get a bus endorsement, but because the other place that I wanted the job, doing what I was doing before, when he called me on Friday and said that, hey man, everything went through, drug test is good, you're all good, you're set to go, come in, fill out the paperwork, and we'll get your schedule. I decided to go with that one. Even though it's the farthest one away, it's 40 miles there and 40 miles back. It's an 80-mile drive every day. So that's probably going to run me at least $10-15 a gas a day. But I may move out towards that area eventually, because it's more country-ish area out there. I used to live out in that area, out in the country. Me and my son lived out there, and and I would drive up from there to here to work all the time. And then, but then after about a year, my son got bored being out in the country, which I don't blame him. None of his friends was out there. I got bored and moved in with his mother up here where I'm working at. So I decided, since I was out there by myself, I had to come this way for work and this way to see my kid. I might as well just move out this way, so I moved back out this way. But now he's older, he's like at 25, if I see him, maybe 2 or 3 times a month, he hangs with his friends and stuff. He's older guy, he does his own thing, and you know how it is when children grow up. They grow up, they grow up and, you don't see them as much, but, now I got a job back out that way, so, like I said, 40 miles there, 40 miles back. I'm gonna, maybe try and catch up on all the bills that are here. Maybe, try and move a little closer. Maybe move back out there toward the country. It might be time. I don't know. Maybe. These are all maybes. I don't want to say I'm gonna do something for sure, because life has a way of, throwing the curveballs and pushing you in different directions. So, like I said, but as of right now, apparently I do have a job. I, gotta go on Monday, get my schedule. I think he was saying Wednesday and Thursdays off, which is fine with me. As long as it's 2 days, I don't care what 2 days that is. 2 days off. And actually, right now, I don't even work overtime, so just to get caught up and everything. But yeah, that's the update about the job. I did get a, it's just weird that I used to live out there, but I worked up here, and I moved up here. I get a job back up there, so which is cool. It's fine. I don't mind the drive. I just hope the vehicle holds up. That's all I hope. And if you're with me this far, let's see. I did have a really weird dream last night. It's I don't know, really weird dream. I don't know. I was driving somewhere, parked my car. Can't remember a lot of it. Parked my car, got out of my car, looked at it, thought something's strange. I stuck my head through the window. The window was open, I guess. Yeah, guess. And there was this other man sitting in the seat. Some dude. I don't even know. I don't know who he looked like. He's long blonde hair with some mustache and stuff. Like a hippie like dude. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's how I see myself. Who knows? But it was weird because when I looked at him, his body was flat like a pancake. But everything was normal. His head and hands were normal, but the rest of him was all flat like a pancake. It was just such a weird visualization of seeing something like that. And I looked at him and go, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I live in this car, man." I said, "You do?" He's like, "Yeah." And he had all his paperwork and everything all over the place. He's like, "Oh, and I like it too. I like it." It was just such a weird, bizarre. Talking to someone in your dream, actually saying something that actually is my worst fear. My worst fear is living in my car. It's one of my worst fears. But to see him talking, the body being flat like a pancake, the hands being normal, the head being normal, and saying, "Yeah, I live in my car. I like it." I was like, I didn't know what to say, and that's when I woke up basically, and that's all I can remember. But like I said, my worst fear was living in my car. It still is. I don't want to live in my car. I don't care how they make it look like, how glamorous they make it look like on YouTube. Some of these people living in your car sucks. It sucks. You don't want to do that. Forget about the car payment. Get yourself a used vehicle and keep a roof over your head. You want indoor plumbing. You do. I'm sorry. When I was younger, I lived in my car. It was rough. It's tough, man. But I don't want to go off on all that stuff. But yeah, just a weird ass dream. Someone telling some weird looking figure telling me he enjoys something that is like my worst fear. It's like, oh, so but yeah, I woke up right after that, and then I promised myself I'd check out some churches, just a couple times a month. I promised. If I got the job, you know how it is sometimes when you say prayers. Oh, if this happens, I'll do this. I did sort of like that. I said, I'd check out a couple churches, every month. Go to church, at least twice a month. Any church, So I went to church service today just to check it out. A little church right by my house. There's about 50 people in there. Wasn't a lot of people. It was nice. It was all right. It was a nice service. They had a band. They sang some music. A lady came on. She talked a little bit. A girl came on. A younger girl. She sang a song. and then like a preacher man came on, and then he talked about Jesus at the wedding. That was what the service was about. It was about celebrations, I guess. He was talking about how Jesus turned water into wine and stuff. All that stuff. But, that stuff they talk in church and stuff. And it was nice. It was nice. I think it started at 10, and it was done. Before noon. I think. Around noon, right there. So it was all right. The only thing I had a problem with is after I don't know what happened, but when I started, when it was over, I started walking, and my legs felt real weak. I thought I was gonna fall over, and that's how weak they felt. I was like, man, what the heck, man? Never felt like that. I don't know if it was from sitting on them pews, maybe. Makes your legs go numb. I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna fall over right here in front of all these people I never even met before. Oh, but yeah, that's the only thing that happened. And then I came home, took a nap, and then decided to, go out to the woods, feed the squirrels. That's where I'm at now. And that has been my day. Now I'm at the woods, talking to you, feeding the squirrels, and drinking some coffee. But I won't keep you here all night. If you want, I can turn it around and show you the woods. There's lots of people here, but I won't keep you all night. I don't know if people want to be filmed. People don't like that. Some people don't like that. But I just wanted to come on and say hi. Give you an update on the job and everything. I'm gonna do like a vlog, and then try and do like another type of funnier video after that. Do one, both. Try to be creative on some of this stuff. I'll put up, the videos I made and stuff up there. If you're here with me to this end, it's, it's like 12 minutes long. I know a lot of people's attention span lasts maybe about like 6 minutes, maybe. Well, even if that. Sometimes my own attention span only lasts about like, 2 or 3 minutes. But alright, everybody, I'm going to let you go. That's my day. This is my vlog number 16. I did get the job, had some more weird dreams, and shared it all with you. Alright, everybody, have a good night. Bye.